All right, in this video, I'm going to teach a lot of the different licks that are used as fills in the verses of the classic Southern rock tune, Sweet Home Alabama. We're going to learn it on the banjo in the melodic style. We've already learned the main riff. Right, when we're on the verses, we're not doing the picking pattern, we're just doing note, note, pinch, okay? And most of these fills that we're going to do are going to occupy that second measure of the G chord, right? So we'll play the D, C, the G, then the fill's going to come in right there. And fills fill space. They fill the spot where the vocalist is not singing. All right, so here's the main one that's used in the verse. It's got a little bit of a tricky timing thing. So we're going to have our ring finger here at the 7th fret of the D string, and we're going to pick 4, 2, 1, 5. And then when we pick that 5th string, it lasts, twice as long as all the other notes. And then we're going to come back in on our 1st string open, pick it with your middle finger. And then back to this 7th fret D string, picking with a thumb. And then picking the 2nd string open with the index. So it sounds like this. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of space in between that so you hear where the lick starts and where it stops. Okay, and we're going to have to make a quick shift back up to this 12th fret for our D chord. Again, we're going to slide out of these licks a lot of the time. We can just pick the note low and slide right up to it. Or we could even slide up and leave out the first note. So we could go like... Alright, could you tell I left out that first note but kept the same timing? I'm going to play it in context. It'll give you a better idea. Okay, so you could hear some of the time there I was sliding up, leaving out that first pick note. Other times I just made the really lightning fast shift needed and played that note twice. All right, the next fill we're going to learn is actually the easiest in the entire song. And it's just going to leave more space. You've got to be conscious that you don't kind of play this and jump back in the riff too soon. A lot of listening to the original and maybe even playing along with it if you get this up to speed will ensure that you keep the right amount of time for each chord change. So for this one again, we're starting it on this A note here at the 7th fret with our ring finger, picking it with our thumb. And we're just going to play 4, 2, 1, and 5, and all kind of the same speed. And we're just going to let it ring. I'm going to play it a few times so you hear what it sounds like and where it stops and starts. Okay, in context. It's a great little fill right there. Another cool one that always catches my ear is when the piano does this kind of ragtime fill. But it's so hard, for me at least, to get at that speed. I can get it, but it just requires such nimble shifting. So something that I came up with that kind of imitates that and gets that sound is this cool little chromatic melodic lick. And if we add some vibrato here on this last note, it's going to add a lot of character and still be really fun. Right? And fills that space really nicely. Check this out in context. Pretty cool, right? So the melodic lick I'm doing here. I've got my ring finger at the 9th fret of the 1st string, and then I'm going to wrap my thumb around here to the 8th fret of the 5th, or you could also fret it maybe with your middle finger. But if you fret it with your middle finger, now it's putting a lot of strain on my ring finger. So if you fret this one up here on the 5th string with your middle, you might want to bring that pinky down. It's probably going to be easier on your hand, like I'm doing. But I usually like to wrap the thumb. So I'll start here with this ring finger at the 9th fret, first string, thumb on the 5th at 8th fret, picking it with a thumb on the pick hand, and first finger 7th fret, 1st string, picking it with the middle, and then picking the open 5th string. Or actually, no, we're adding the vibrato, so 5th fret open is a G note, so is 8th fret 2nd string. So I'm bringing my thumb down to pick that so it gets a really strong note, but you could just pick it with your index too. And a lot of the time I'm adding in this 5th string right before I play the riff. But again, you could just play it without that little add-in note there before you start the riff. Vibrato, it's a guitar thing. It's tough. Quick crash course. Here we go. Lock the joint of this middle finger. Lock it, okay? And then when keep your thumb on the top of the banjo, it's going to act as a fulcrum point. And then while that joint's locked and that thumb is on the top of the neck, try to open a locked door, right? We're using that forearm to turn while that joint's locked. And if we do that, we're going to get a nice little vibrato. To practice it, go slow, bend, return, bend, return, bend, return. Do it in time, do it steadily, okay? There's a vibrato crash chorus. Give it a try. Okay, so that covers the main fills for the verses. Now we're on to the instrumental. You can call it a bridge, but it's just a little instrumental kind of that happens after the 2nd verse. All right, so here we're going to learn the instrumental, or the instrumental bridge that happens after verse 1 in Sweet Home, Alabama. So we're going to be playing out of these common root position vamping shapes for D at the 12th fret, C at the 10th, and then G down here at the 5th. But we're actually not going to need this ring finger, right? We're really just going to use these 3 notes right here, which is actually a first inversion because it doesn't have the root note. We're taking the root note out. We're starting on what's known as the 3rd of the chord, the major 3rd there, the 5th, and the root moves to the top. So we got an inversion here. Again, the pinky is going to be at the 12th fret for D, 10th fret for C, and the 5th fret for the G. The thing we're going to do here, which is going to give it the super cool sound as we hear in Sweet Home Alabama, this bluesy twist, is we're going to hammer on from the 10th to the 11th fret. Right? And that's playing with the minor sound and going into the major sound. You can see just changing that one note totally changes the context. And when we go back and forth between minor and major quickly like that, we get the blues flavor. Okay, so we're going to hammer in from 10 to 11 on the 3rd string, going 1st finger to 2nd finger, picking it with my thumb, and then I'm going to pick the 10th fret B string with the index, and pick the 12th fret 1st string with my middle. And then I'm going to come back and pick the 2nd string, and then the 3rd string, and slide back. Alright, now when we get to the C shape here, I'm going to hammer on again from 1 fret behind where my middle finger is. Right, so in this case, I'm going from 8th fret to 9th fret. And then I'm going to play the 1st and 2nd strings together twice as a pinch with my index and middle fingers in my pick hand. Okay, so hammer. And then pinch with the index and middle on your pick hand. And then I'm going to pick the 9th fret on the 3rd string and slide out, okay? and then that's taken me down here to this G shape. And again, I'm going to hammer in from 1 fret behind. If you notice, there's a big pattern here. We're taking this root shape, right, which is a major shape, and hammering in from 1 fret behind where that middle finger is, which is the note that makes it major. So we're playing with the minor and the major on each of these chord shapes. And then down here at this 5th fret for the G, hammering in from 3 to 4 on the G string. And then I'm going to play the 2nd string, 1st string, picking with index and middle. And then we're going to let this 5th string note ring out for just a moment. And then we're going to pick it again, and then go to the open G. Okay, I'm going to play it all so you hear it in context. Alright, let's learn a few of the fills that are used in the chorus of Sweet Home Alabama. The first one we're going to take a look at and tackle is the one that actually leads into the chorus. It's a really cool one. So like a lot of the other ones, we're going to start this with our ring finger on our fret hand at the 7th fret of the 4th string. And we're going to pick 4 and then your 2nd and 1st strings, which will both be open. Okay, so 4, 2, 1, and then 5th string, and then fret the 5th string with your index finger of the B string, and we're going to pick that with the 1st finger, and then pick the open 1st string, and then you're going to come back here to the 7th fret of the D string, pick it with your thumb, and then open 2nd string. Alright, I'll play that a few times just by itself so you hear where the lick stops and starts. Okay, like a lot of the other fills we have learned, this is a 1 measure lick. It's just used on that 2nd time you play the G chord. So in context here. Okay, so that one usually leads into the chorus, but again, if you're playing this, you know, with friends, jamming around, whatever, you can throw that fill in anywhere, right? It works anytime you're on that 2nd measure of the G chord. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is a really cool one. It's used usually in the middle of the chorus, and it adds a new note. So we're playing this C note here at the 7th fret of the G string. And we're going to talk about adding a little blues bend there as well. So, like almost every other fill we have done, we're going to start this at the 7th fret of the D string. Okay, picking that with your thumb, and we're going to pick strings 2 and 1 open right after that. If you notice, we've got a big pattern forming here, right? We've kind of got a lot of theme and variations going on with these fill licks. So again, 7th fret of the D string, picking 4, 2, 1, and then you're gonna do the 5th string or the 5th fret of the 2nd string and pick it with your thumb, drop that down. Okay, I like to drop my thumb down. You could just pick it with your index, and then after that you're gonna pick the open 1st string with your middle finger in your pick hand, and then fret your G string at the 5th fret and pick it with your thumb. Okay, I'm going to play that a few times by itself so you hear where it stops and starts, or starts and stops. Alright, I'll play it in context. something I like to do at that spot is add a little bit of a blues bend. So what we'll do is a really slight bend on this fifth fret G string note, the C. And you want to stop it before you hear it come back down, otherwise it's going to lose its blues flavor. Right? So usually I'm muting it after it comes up just a little bit with either my free fingers on my fretting hand or my pick hand. And as you can see, I'm not doing the bend immediately. It's not, right? There's the notes happening for a second. And then, you know, a couple microseconds pass. And I do that little slight bend toward the end of that note's short little life there. All right, got a few more fill licks here. Our first 2-measure fill lick we're gonna use. Usually on guitar, this is a cool one. You could do this on banjo too. It just involves a lot of hammer-ons going from your open D to your open G. Right, so I think that was 5 of those. Yeah, 5 of those, so I'm just doing a hammer-on from open D to 2nd fret, and with my middle finger, and then picking that open G each time. So in context, here's what this would sound like. And again, I'm showing you where it's done on guitar. We're going to do it somewhere different on banjo in a second, using that melodic style, but this is something cool and easy to add in as well. And by the way, it's 2 measures, so it's going to take the place completely of your G chord. We're not going to play the rhythm for that at all. So we'll play D, C, and then the fill. All right, pretty cool. So we're going to do those same notes, which are just D, E, and G, using a little bit of the melodic. We're going to start on this high D note. That is the 1st string. Right, hear how they're the same. And then this 5th fret note on the B string is also an E note. We're going to pick that with our index finger. And we're going to go to this high G note, right, our open 5th string. You can hear how those are the same. And so we're going to end up doing a backwards roll here, kind of 5 times. We're going to go middle index thumb here on strings 1, 2, and 5. Right, and when we do this, we stay in that octave up, which is kind of what we've been doing the whole time with Sweet Home Alabama here. In context. Pretty fun one right there. All right, I want to show you guys one more lick here. This one is not in Sweet Home Alabama at all, but it's a really cool one that borrows from a classic Scruggs riff, and we're going to use it in we're going to use it with a different chord shape. So this one is borrowed from the riff that you hear in Ground Speed and John Hardy. Right, a great riff for leads and for backups. And there we're using it out of the D chord here and using some open strings. But we're going to get that same sound by using this root shape out of this G here. Right? So in Sweet Home Alabama, it's going to be a 2-measure riff that we only use on the G chord. But this is like a lick that you can use in anything and anytime you're seeing this root shape. It's something that can work for lead or backup. Okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to play this root shape. Leave out the ring finger, and we're going to pick 3rd string, pinch 1st and 2nd with index and middle, pick the 3rd string, and then bring your ring finger down on your fret hand to the 5th fret of the 2nd string, pinch both of those strings, right? And we're just kind of going back and forth between 3rd string, and then picking 1 and 2, and then 3rd string, picking 1 and 2 with the ring finger down. Right, and it ends with the ring finger off. So the rhythm's tricky on this one. I'm just going to play it a bunch. listen a bunch, watch a bunch, and you will start to absorb the timing of it here. I'm going to play this in context. It's pretty cool. Again, it's just a really cool riff that you can use anytime you're on the root shape, and you can go through all these different chords if you're playing it for 2 measures. Okay, so it sounds great, but again, in Sweet Home Alabama, it's only going to work on the G chord because every other time you're on your D or C, you're on each of those chords for 1 measure only, so the riff won't really work. But this riff is similar kind of to the sound that you get in Werewolves in London. Right, so pretty cool. Again, there's a whole new song that we just learned using those same chord shapes and a bit of that riff that we just talked about. All right, that's it for this mega awesome video for Sweet Old Hairy Grandma by Skinner's Gizzards. It's a great tune, and we have learned that classic rock and southern rock truly rule on the banjo. It's a lot of fun to play, and we can learn some foundational concepts at the same time. All right, that's it for this mega awesome video of Sweet Home Alabama. I do have some more tips for you. 1, as you're learning, go slow. You know, you hear that all the time. But maybe something that will reframe that is listen to yourself as you learn, as you play. You know, don't just play trying to get to a certain point. Listen to every note you play. You know, if you really try to listen to each individual note, you're not going to be rushing to the next one. And you're going to have fingers held down for longer. It's going to make your fingers stronger, and you're going to make more connections between your hands and your ears. It's going to be good for you musically. So stop and smell the roses as you're learning. As I said, if you're feeling confident with this, start playing along with the original. And listen kind of critically when you're not playing to the original for when these fills are happening. You know, a lot of the time, it's like every other time through the chord progression. So it might be like... and we don't have to play this exactly like Lynyrd Skynyrd did, right? We can just have some fun with it. But starting to listen more critically to hear details is good for, you know, developing your ears if you're starting to learn more stuff by ear. So as I said, we've got a lot of scales, exercises, songs to learn, and video lessons on TuneFox. Please check us out and give us a try. Something else you might like if you liked this one, we've got 2 videos up on YouTube for Ring of Fire. So you'll learn how to play that classic intro down the neck and up the neck, and it's made in a way that it's accessible for super beginners all the way up to intermediate players. All right, I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I started out as a guitar player learning classic rock and southern rock, so it's nice to get to teach a song that combines 2 of my loves, banjo and southern rock, which is sort of my part of my musical roots. So I really dug it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it helps you. I hope you get to play this song and have fun with this song. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Let us know what you think. And also let me know if you guys want to hear some more Skynyrd. Because when I was messing around with this, I also realized that out of the same chord shape, we could get another really classic Skynyrd riff. Lots of fun, right? So if you want to learn that, comment and please let us know.